Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Postgame Rapid Reaction. Wow. Fifth game of the regular season and another bit of a heartbreaker tonight. Glad to have you guys along either way, though. Kraken taking on the St. Louis Blues live at CPA. Third game of this homestand where they had gone 0-2 so far before that. Tough one. Lots of storylines already as we headed into the night, and we're going to recap this, react to it a little bit here. Thanks for tuning in. Let's talk about the game, discuss what we saw in that overtime loss. The St. Louis Blues coming to you live from the Sasquatch studio. I wish I had better news, you guys, but this is another tough one to swallow. Just too many mistakes there in the second period, and we can kind of get into that a little bit here as we roll, but I'm your host, Mike, Sasquatch NHL. Always great to have you guys here for post-game, whether it's tonight, tomorrow, replay, live. Doesn't matter to me. Just glad to have you by and part of the post-game routine here. Appreciate the support. So let's get into it a little bit tonight. Not too long of a stream. It's a late night. Everybody's a little bit bummed out. Ty, thanks for being here in the chat. Might be a little bit of a slow night in the chat after that gut punch. People might just need to commiserate on their own or elsewhere. We'll see. But in either case, thanks for being here. Do me a huge favor. This is the first time you've been by. Hit that like or subscribe button. If you're coming back, I appreciate it. Any support, goes a long way in helping the channel and keeping things coming to you guys here in the future. But yeah, tonight I'm gonna give you that rapid reaction, win or lose. That's what I do. We break it down, we talk about it. I've got a poll up there in the chat. Do you think Shane Wright got enough minutes tonight? So go ahead and vote on that if you're watching live, and if you're watching in the replay, just let me know in the comments too. What did you think about the deployment of Shane Wright throughout the evening? I thought, maybe a little bit better. I think his ice time went up a little bit. He got that first point, so those are all good things. And hopefully we're going to keep seeing him more and more. I did like having him surrounded there with Tanev and Donato on that line. So interesting mix. We'll see if they keep that going into the future here. But yeah, looking forward to having you guys along. A quick show again tonight. We'll talk about it and break things down. But Kraken, again, closing out that homestand before they head out to Colorado on Friday. Things don't get any easier. They're trying to bounce back here after a couple of rough games against Vegas and Carolina. And they lost focus at times, a little bit undisciplined, too many penalties through both of those games, I thought. So, cup contenders keep rolling through town, and it doesn't get any easier as we go out on the road here to Colorado. The Blues, on the other hand, a tough team. They're pretty deep up front, right? The depth there is pretty key for them. Last season, they had 9 players with 20 or more goals throughout the season. They're a team, and my buddy Ty pointed this out throughout the evening, and we talked a little bit before the stream. St. Louis is a team that's going to make you pay for your mistakes and your turnovers, and that's exactly what they did tonight. Multiple times, Kraken making mistakes, and you kind of just got to roll back a little bit and think this game could be completely different without those response goals that the Blues scored right after the Kraken kind of grabbed some momentum. So they've got to correct that, and I'm going to keep harping on it until they do, because it's unacceptable at this point. Season 2 now, and they've got to learn from that mistake. But we'll get into it. We can talk about it. Really looking forward to kind of getting through this rapid reaction with you guys. Again, if you're watching in the replay or live, let me know where you're checking in from. Who are your 3 stars this evening? Studs and duds, surprises. How do you feel about the line combinations? A little bit of a jumble coming in again tonight. And how do you feel about Shane's ice time as far as his deployment from Hackstall? So I do have that chat bubble. Always like to pop you guys up, or I will do my best to reply in the comments afterwards. So yeah, Blues last year. They were 49, 22, and 11, and, a pretty good team. Third in the Central. They ended up losing to Colorado in the second round of the Western Conference playoffs. And, Craig Berube, 5th season as coach there. Pretty solid team. Robert Thomas, one of their better scorers. He signed that big contract in the offseason, 8-year, $65 million deal in July. They did lose David Perron. He went to Detroit. And Jordan Binnington, of course, trying to find that formula for consistency again this year. After he played pretty well in the playoffs for them last spring, but he was inconsistent, I thought, through the regular season. So we'll see how he goes here throughout the rest of the year, and if he can put it together for the Blues. They've got a pretty good roster, pretty good, top 4 defensive core and a pretty deep forward group. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do in the Central Division this year. The Kraken now, on the other hand, really needing to stay out of the penalty box coming into the game tonight, but stay aggressive, but not too aggressive. You want to see that full 60 minutes and focus. It's early in the year, but the power play kind of looking pretty good coming in tonight. 5th overall in the league, clicking along at 33%. And, just in general, kind of needing to clean up their game, get rid of those mental mistakes. We've talked about it throughout the week. It happened on opening night. It happened again against Carolina. And you were kind of hoping it wouldn't happen again tonight. But as we'll talk about, it did. And it bit them pretty badly in the second period. And they got to quit doing this. But let's take a quick look at the roster. Coming in tonight, you had Burakovsky, Winberg, and Bjorkstrand on the first line. This got jumbled up throughout the game as Hackstall usually kind of, moves things around. But for the most part, it stayed intact, I thought, throughout. You had Beniers there with Schwartz and Eberle. Schwartz, getting to face his former team for the first time. Yanni Gord, Jared McCann. Jared McCann banged up a little bit. Carson Kuhlman on their flank. And then that right, it's right centering that line with Donato and Tanev. I kind of like that look tonight, and I'm thinking we might see that a little bit more going forward. So something to keep an eye on. Defensive pairings largely the same, and Jones in net starting tonight for the Kraken. I'm going to talk a little bit about the main focus areas that I'm trying to kind of look at as we start out the season, going into the year 2 here. Really focused on the line combinations of the roster. Each game, it's been a little bit jumbled up, a little bit different. Healthy scratches have changed throughout the first 5 games here. Kind of hard to predict, but like I said, Jared McCann kind of banged up. Shane wasn't getting a whole lot of ice time. He was a healthy scratch for a couple games there. But I thought he did better tonight, and Dave Hackstall is now dipping his toes in there just a little bit further, so it's good to see that. What's up, Ty? Borgen, I'm loving him even more. Yeah, Borgen, another great night, and physical tonight, too. Didn't put up with any nonsense around the net. So pretty quiet in the chat tonight, but that's the way it goes. That's okay. Like I said, if you guys are watching the replay tomorrow, too, love to hear from you in the comments, and, hit me over on Twitter, too. That's always good. But again, so coming back to the 3 kind of focus areas, the line combinations and the roster makeup overall. And second here, I really want to keep watching the defensive structure and the clean zone exits. I want to minimize turnovers. So those are kind of the big things in item 2 there. Item 3 would be the goaltending, right? Can the goaltending show up at the right time? Timely saves, cover up mistakes that are happening either by the forwards or the defense. Sometimes you need your goalie to bail you out, and that hasn't happened a whole lot this year. It happened a little bit tonight, and it's happened a little bit throughout the first 5 games, but largely it has not happened yet, and the Kraken are now facing a 3-game losing streak. Coming into Colorado on Friday is going to be difficult. They're going to be trying to bounce back a little bit, get that third, erase the losing streak and end it. We'll see what happens, but anyhow. All right, let's get into rapid reaction tonight. Looks like it's going to be a little bit of a slow night on the stream, and that's all right, but I do appreciate the support, and any views here and there, comments, let me know what you guys are thinking as we kind of replay and recap the game if you're joining late. Good to have you guys along, and let's take a look here at the highlights, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what happened in that overtime loss to the Blues. So first period, right, we go in, Martin Jones getting that start again for your Kraken. Maybe, the plan is to start Giroux on Friday against his old team. I thought it would have been really interesting, though, if he had pulled that off tonight. They would have had that decision to make, who goes on Friday. But I would bet Giroux's going to go Friday. Jordan Binnington, again, starting for the Blues. Schwartz getting that first start against his former team. Good to see that. He had been obviously injured in the prior matchups. So first period, we go 2 minutes into the game. Justin Schultz Shoots the puck over the glass in the defensive zone. He's going to go for 2 minutes. Not a great start there. Kraken penalty kill. They get put to the test early. They do a pretty good job. Jones with some good saves on that, and they kill the penalty. So not too bad of a start. I don't like to see the penalty 2 minutes into the game, but he kind of flubbed the pass over the glass under pressure there. Just under 15 minutes to go. Barbashev with a huge hit on Shane Wright, and I thought this kind of jostled things a little bit. Ryan Donato jumps in there. Immediate response. What's up, Jim? Good to see you in the chat, too. Thanks for dropping by tonight. Just going through the recap here. But yeah, Ryan Donato immediately jumps in there to Shane Wright's defense. I tweeted, the best part of that hit was that Shane Wright was on the ice to receive it. A little bit of a snarky comment from me, but it's true. Honestly, he's going to have to take these hits and get some game experience, learn how to play with the big boys. But anyhow, a little skirmish there. Kraken end up with a power play coming out of that. And, I do love to see Ryan Donato jumping in to the defense. Sorry, the Blues got a power play out of that. Anyhow, the Kraken end up killing that off, but right as McCann comes out of the box, Jordan Kyrou steps in to a shot. Parayko kind of gave him the pass there. He just slid down into the circle, uncontested. Nice wrister, beats Jones, low glove side. Blues lead it 1-0. Man, frustrating game tonight. About 9 minutes left in the first. Winberg, a great takeaway in the neutral zone, and this is where I thought things kind of started turning a little bit for the Kraken. Great job by Winberg tonight, too. He had a better game for sure. Skates into the zone, drops it back. Burakovsky, who gets the puck, and the shot kind of comes back around to Winberg. He finds Will Borgen down low, who puts it in, tying the game 1-1. Great play again by Winberg. Great finish by Borgen. It's good to see those guys clicking a little bit better. Borgen stepping up for sure so far this year. But don't go getting too excited, okay? Because the Kraken once again allow not one, but 2 response goals. The first one, Jones just kind of flubs behind the net. Vince Dunn, a little miscommunication. Braden Shin knocks it in. And then on the ensuing face-off, the Blues rush up the ice. They slice and dice up the Kraken defense. Great pass from Shin to Falk. They make it 3-1, and Dave Haxtell, the look on his face, he's not pleased, obviously. None of us are pleased. I'm sure the team isn't pleased with themselves. He calls a timeout, brings the boys over, hauls them out in a very calm way. But, we all know this is an area they've got to fix. I hate to laugh here because it's just like, you see it over and over and over and over, and you would think at some point they're going to correct it, but they don't. I don't know how, where, when, why, who's going to step up and refocus after you score a goal. Get the team centered and ready to roll and stop giving up these response goals. It's just absolutely killing them, killing their momentum. Again, just unacceptable. We've got to fix it. Okay, we'll keep moving. Don't want to harp on it too much, but jeez. Go to the second period. Kraken about even shot-wise, so that's good. The teams are just trading chances. First, the Kraken. Burakovsky cross-ice to Susie. Bennington shuts the door. Impressive save there. And then next, the Blues get a chance just under 15 minutes to go. Brandon Saad with the shot, and Martin Jones stacks the pads coming across, so that's that timely save you're looking for, right? And, it keeps it 3-2 or 3-1. So I kind of marked that one down in the notebook. We go halfway through the second period, and, the puck kind of glances off Shane Wright a little bit over to Turbo. He grabs it and in the defensive zone there, and a huge stretch pass all the way down to Ryan Donato. It's that breakaway chance. Initially, he doesn't score, but he sticks with it, keeps whacking at it, puts it in. A huge goal for the Kraken. And great to see Shane Wright there get credited with his first point, his first assist in the NHL. So congrats to him and the family there to watch it. You saw the emotions. So really cool to see that. Happy for him. Not happy with the overall result tonight, but, we'll take a few positives here along the way. Kraken definitely showing signs of life here in the second period. We go all the way towards the end of the period. They do win a face-off there. Bjorkstrand wins it over to Winberg. He sends it to the point. Adam Larson with a shot on net. Nothing fancy there, right? He just kind of took it from the blue line and winged it at the net. It kind of deflects off a defender, goes in, and Kraken tie the game 3-3. So a really good response in the second period after just kind of a collapse and doing the same, allowing response goals by St. Louis there. Oh, man. Frustrating. Keep talking about it. I gotta let it go. Third period, okay? Shane Wright, they announced he got credited with that assist on the goal by Donato. So again, congrats to him. We're going into the third here, just over 17 minutes left. Kraken really putting the pressure on Shane Wright. Down low here, he fires a shot and he hits the post. I really thought it was going to go in. And man, that would have been awesome to grab the lead. Shane Wright would have scored his first NHL goal, but it didn't happen. But that's the way it is. And good to see Hackstall deploying him just a little bit more tonight. So I think that's going to continue. Definitely making things happen when he's on the ice. And again, I did like that line with Wright, Donato, and Turbo. I feel like he's got that extra support on the flanks there. With Donato and Turbo, great guys to have on your line. 13:30 to go. Shane Wright on the ice again, wins a defensive zone faceoff. So the little things, right? Got to put those together, and that's what we're looking for in the development of Shane as he goes. But he wins that faceoff, and it actually feeds a rush the other way. A really great chance at the other end that the Kraken got out of that. So, just a little nuance there. They didn't capitalize, but it was good to see that happen. With 10:45 left, Neighbors runs Jones for goalie interference. Will Borgen, and this is what Ty kind of alluded to, getting physical. He's having none of it. He goes after it, pushes Neighbors. Little skirmish breaks out. Kraken end up with a power play out of that. And it's a big one in the third, but they couldn't generate anything on it at all. So that's when you would like to see the power play have a little more pop to it, and it just kind of fell flat. Pretty critical part of the game, too. So we go to overtime, and, not a whole lot to say. We get in there. I think the Kraken did get one decent chance, but the puck goes down into the Kraken end. And Schultz, again, with a little flub. We've seen this a few times. I've been pretty complimentary of Justin Schultz so far, but unfortunately, mistakes happen, and that one happened in a bad place. And at a really bad time, Blues scoop it up. Justin Falk, the game winner, making it 4-3 in overtime. And you just feel terrible about the result. You kind of liked the response after they just, dug their own grave again, doing that thing where they give up goals to the other team right after scoring a goal themselves. But you can try to put a positive spin on this one, but it sucks. That's really the best way to describe it. Just really kind of sucks to lose that one in overtime. The crowd at Climate Pledge Arena still has not been able to see a game winner in overtime just yet. I do believe that there was a shootout that they won at home, but it'd be really great to get that moment in Seattle for them, for the crowd to just kind of explode a little bit and see that emotion. But yeah, just didn't happen. Ty saying Matty now 2 games without a point. Kid is a total bust. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty big dry spell for him based on his prior performance. The consistency definitely there. I thought, he's been getting banged around pretty good last couple of games. Tonight, I thought he did well. But yeah, you're not going to score every night. But again, I really think the whole game comes down to those response goals in the second period. It just really derailed the momentum, and then they're playing from behind. It changes, the line chemistry and what they have to do to try to respond. It puts more pressure on you to be a little bit less aggressive, because then you can't take penalties, because then you're playing from behind and shorthanded. It just continues to pile on. No Fear 86, good to see you in the stream. Thanks for coming back to the channel. Saying, curious to see where Shane's development will be in his last 10 games compared to what Matty B was last year when he came in. I really think he will be on par. Yeah, and I think, if we can continue to be patient with Hackstall, depending on how long Hackstall is here, I think that he's going to continue to deploy him he's going to continue to add some additional talent to his wings like he did tonight. And I'm happy with with the fact that he's protecting him a little bit, but I do want to see the kid go. And you saw him tonight. He kind of came alive after getting hit pretty good there on the boards. He just kind of came alive, and he was a little bit of a different player after that. And you've got to, it's like in football when you see the guy take that huge hit for the first time, it's going to happen. And you have to be able to let him kind of work through it, get up off the ground, and see what he's going to do with it. And I thought he responded really well after he took that hit. And he also has that confidence there now that Ryan Donato is going to step up, and I'm sure Turbo would too, if need be, to defend him a little bit and protect him. So I'm looking forward to it. I think that as long as we're patient, it's going to happen. I felt like tonight was a really big step in the right direction for Shane Wright specifically. I'm still going to harp on this, this response goal garbage that I keep saying. I tweeted tonight, I said, next time the Kraken score a goal, if I'm Dave Hackstall, I'm calling a timeout and I'm bringing them over to the bench and I'm saying, you guys, you just scored a goal. What have we been doing the last 2 seasons that we need to stop doing? Right? And spend that 30 seconds thinking about it and preparing for your first shift after scoring a goal. I don't know what else it takes to get the guys to execute coming out of scoring a goal. It's like watching your shot in basketball. You kind of fade back and you don't go try to rebound, or there's a million analogies you can make here, but it's just over and over and over. And I feel like it just completely derailed them tonight. So anyhow, the dude saying fantastic saves, good game. Thanks for dropping by, the dude. Appreciate it. I don't recognize your new username, so if you're first time dropping by, hit that subscribe button. Keep coming back. Like to do post-game streams here for Seattle Kraken throughout the season. No Fear 86 saying just got off work like every game. Yeah, so unfortunately you probably missed a little bit of it, but yeah, thanks for jumping in here. I can do my part, try to recap it and talk about it a little bit. Jim C saying Dunner had a rough night. Yeah, and I feel like that's a couple games in a row now. I didn't look real close at his game. The other night against Carolina, I was a little distracted in the arena, had a lot of things going on. But I think Vince Dunn, we talked about it, Jim. He's dropped a lot of weight. He looks a little different this year. His game has been pretty inconsistent, and he's in a contract year. So at some point, something's going to have to start clicking for him, right? He's going to have to just step up, start finding his lane a little bit, stay home when you need to, bounce and try to, make something happen offensively, because that's really where his strong suit is moving the puck and creating on the fly. But I just haven't seen it from Vince Dunn yet this year. We'll see what happens. No Fear 86 saying, thank God for Fubo TV. Can usually catch games en route now. Boo to TNT. Yeah, I mean, the debate about the broadcasting setup definitely is out there. Luckily for me, I'm able to watch most nights, but I know that a lot of people struggle with this. And Fubo TV, I don't actually subscribe to cable. I just do streaming. So there's some nights when I have to really try to search. Or sometimes what I will do is just listen on the radio, right? Because that's a pretty good call over there, and I like doing that every now and then. It's good, kind of old school, right? Ty Jacobs saying, don't compare Shane to Matty. It's not even close, other than they both play center. That's a good point. I feel like what No Fear 86 was saying as far as just, timing and such. But yeah, I would hesitate to compare them directly. And I'll finish what you were saying. The development in the NHL will be way different versus an all-star college team. Both play way different styles as well. So some good points there by Ty Jacobs. And yeah, I think, we can kind of compare the developmental route and the minutes and things like that and the deployment of the player. But as far as, the type of player, they are indeed different guys altogether, different game styles. Shane Wright's more of that two-way player, very responsible defensively. He's probably going to take a little bit more time to start getting that goal scoring and, the points popping up in the scoreboard. But Shane Wright, he's going to be good, okay? You can see it. You can see glimpses of it already despite the limited ice time. And I'm really hopeful for him to, keep adding to those ice time totals, And I think Dave Hackstall knows people want to see him, and I know he wants to see him be successful too. So just got to keep being patient, trying my best. I talked to my buddy Jim last night about this a lot, trying not to be the hot take guy in season 2 of expansion with some young players and a young team. But yeah, it's frustrating because you do want to see him, and everybody's anxious to get him going. So we'll just keep with it here. The other point here, No Fear 86 says, true, it is a running theme. They need to work on that. Yeah, and I think he's referring to the team giving up those response goals. I've talked about it probably enough tonight. I was just kind of letting some frustration out. It's just you keep seeing it now 2 seasons in a row, and it's like, oh my gosh. Wow, Dunn is the new Lausanne. That's a pretty big indictment there on Vince Dunn. I don't know if I'm 100% with you on that, Ty, but there are definitely moments where it's just like, wow, what are we doing? Turnovers and just the mental lapses that you're seeing at times from not only Vince Dunn, a couple of other guys. I don't want to keep picking on certain names, but I really need that D-core to keep stepping up. I want to see the consistency. I want to see clean puck movement out of your own end. Right? We've seen 3 games now where fumbling the puck has led to goals, and it happened last year too. So got to be strong on the puck, know what you're doing, have a plan, get out, up the boards, quickly find your wing. The wing's got to support the breakout coming down. It's not complicated stuff, but you've got to execute. You've got to be on the ball. Yeah, No Fear 86 kind of echoing, saying that's why he was. So we got a little debate going here. He was saying, last 10 games of the season, not today. And I think that's, if I'm reading this right, you're kind of talking more about the timing of deployment and, kind of that ramp up in ice time versus, the style of play between those 2 players. But Ty playing the other side of the conversation. That's Stanley Cup champion Vince Dunn, sir. That's right, the dude. I remember. I know. I watched that season. I watched the Sharks pretty closely back in the day before the Kraken arrived, and I was definitely dialed in for that run when the Blues took out the Sharks. Broke my heart. But yeah, Vince Dunn, he was definitely a big part of that run. I think he ended up, did he get hurt during that playoff run? But he was definitely a part of it. Jaden Schwartz, of course, too, and Bennington. But yeah, man, they beat up the Sharks in that series late, if you remember. They definitely took them out and just kind of powered through to win the cup. All right, guys, let's talk a little bit about the game stats here, and then we'll kind of head into the end of the stream. Not too long tonight, about a half hour so far. But yeah, keep feeding me comments, and I'll keep going. But other than that, let's look at the stats. We'll wrap things up, call it a night, and look forward to Friday. See how the Kraken do. All right. So tonight, stat-wise, 35 shots for the Kraken. Not too shabby, right? I like to see plus 30. I want to see plus 30 every night. None of these 22-shot nights. Give me 30 shots. Like shots on goal, not shots of booze. That would kill me. 29 shots for the Blues. Face-offs, not too bad, 47%. I know this is an area they're working on a lot in practice. You see it coming out of the KCI complex up there. The reporters doing a great job on the ground, kind of keep focusing on who's staying after, who's taking face-offs. So you see a lot of the guys working on it. I think that they're going to eventually turn that total around a little bit and be, having the majority of face-off wins. Power play tonight, they got that one in the third period. It did not come through, and it was not very productive. I would have liked to have seen that one been productive there in the third, but Blues also over 3, so the penalty kill did a pretty good job tonight, and they also did well early, which can be tough. Pretty physical tonight. I know, like, the hits stat is not my favorite, but 17 hits for the Kraken, 15 for the Blues. And you see the Blues laying down to block shots, 15 shot blocks there. And, maybe that's something that the Kraken need to work on a little bit. I don't know. Giveaways. Again, this is just 11 giveaways. That pretty much tells you everything that you need to know. A lot of them led to goals. Takeaways. We did see that nice takeaway by Winberg in the neutral zone there, and that led to a goal. I've been a little bit tough on Winberg so far, here on the live streams and maybe in my commentary on Twitter, but I thought he played a much better game tonight, so props to him. And I hope he keeps it going because he's our second line center right now, sometimes first line center. He's kind of bouncing around. But we really need Winberg to be solid and consistent if we're going to have success. I'm saying we, but the Kraken. Shots by period here. Gives you a little idea of the game flow. First period about even, second period about even, and then the Kraken really poured on in the third. Right? 12-6. They really had to come at it there, and they did. And then the overtime, one shot each. And the Blues capitalized on that one. 3 stars here. Let's take a look at that. If you guys want to give me your 3 stars in the chat, I'll read that out. But here's what I think the official press box 3-star ruling was. He had Justin Falk, 2 goals tonight. That overtime winner, 22 minutes of ice time for him. He had a great night. Justin Falk. One guy to watch play. Will Borgen, Ty pointed it out. I thought he played good as well. I love the physical, in-your-face style, and he's been all over the ice so far for the Kraken this year. Second star, 1 goal, 16 and a half minutes on ice. And then Ryan Donato, I actually put that in my notes as well, so I'm glad they picked him as a star. And, 1 goal for him. He had to really work at it there, had that breakaway, didn't score, and then he just kept going after it, got the rebound to go in. So good job by those guys. And the Kraken, if they could just kind of clean things up through those mental lapses, we might be looking at a team that is like, got a couple more wins right now. Carolina and Vegas, I'm fine taking that L, but yeah, it just feels like tonight they could have won, and then they threw that game away in Anaheim. They could be a 3-win team right now, in my opinion. All right, a few more comments here. No Fear 86 saying, you got to get blasted to get used to playing in the NHL. Keep him in the fire. It's the only way to learn. And yeah, I totally agree. I kind of talked about this just a little bit ago. You see it in a lot of sports, right? The rookie comes out and he gets taught a lesson just a little bit, whether it's, through receiving a big hit, or, maybe gets dunked on in the NBA, or, maybe in baseball. I'm not sure what would happen there, but as a rookie, you got to go through it. And so I feel like that was a big stepping stone tonight for Shane Wright. I think that ice time is going to continue to tick up. I hope it does, because I know Hackstall is hearing, right? He's hearing what people want, and they got to keep going for it, I think. Ty Jacobs saying you don't learn on I. Yeah, good counter to that. Yeah, you don't want to get hit too hard, because then you're going to be out. But if you're 86, Gretzky got blasted plenty his rookie season. I remember seeing, remind me which goaltender hit him in the, was it Hextall? Not Hackstall. Ron Hextall, I believe. Maybe it was it Billy Smith? Somebody unloaded on Gretzky with one of the goaltenders back in the day. I remember seeing that highlight, and I remember my dad would talk about that over and over. But if you can remember, or let me know, and I'll read that out. But no Fear 86, yeah, saying I am that old. Ty saying, also developing in an NHL organization is still different than Maddie. It's not a clean comparison at all. 10 games late in the season, those minutes was because he stands out always. Yeah, I mean, this is good debate. I like this. Maddie puts on 12 pounds over summer, working with a professional team. It's a massive difference from college. And you kind of saw that, just kind of playing off of this comment a little bit. You saw the opposite with Vince Dunn. He tried to get more lean. I think trying to improve his mobility a little bit, but I don't know if it has really paid dividends just yet. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting to see how the guys, what their approach is to training, adding weight, losing weight, etc. Some of the strength training, some guys do more agility and flexibility type stuff. whole different conversation we can get into that I'm not I'm not a super expert on, but it's definitely a factor for the type of game they want to play and the role that they play on the team. The dude saying 15 block shots and y'all still put up 35. Sheesh. Yeah, and that's pretty encouraging, right? So last year the Kraken there was definitely times where they were not generating enough shots. And we saw that a lot throughout the first season. I think they were sub 30 shots many of the nights along the way, and then they kind of started figuring things out, it felt like, towards the end of the season. I don't know if the stats necessarily bear that out, but yeah, 15 block shots for the Blues tonight. That's incredible. And maybe the Kraken can take a page from their book with that defensively. You guys selling out a little bit. Stop some of that rubber from going to the net night in, night out. It might alleviate some of the goaltending pains that we've seen along the way with Grew and Jones. But yeah, they both need to step it up too. It's just, this team is not good enough to take nights off. Not even close yet. So they're going to have to dig in every game, every aspect, every phase. They can't take a shift off. You can't take a power play off. You just don't have enough talent across the board to do that. And, hopefully they figure it out here, or it's going to be another long season. Jim C saying, Burakovsky still looking solid. Yeah, I would totally agree. Great puck possession and another beauty cross-ice seam pass. Gord was letting it all hang out. Both ends of the ice late in the game. Yeah, Gord, he also had that great play on the penalty kill earlier in the game where he just kind of drug it out, kept the puck, kept it away from ate up a lot of time on the clock. So it's small stuff like that you want to kind of keep seeing. The nuances, right? The battles within the battle. And that's what's going to lead to some additional success, I think, for the Kraken. Billy Smith. Oops, we'll go to you here. It was Billy Smith. Thanks, Jim C. I knew I was close. I was thinking, no, Ron Hextall is not the right name. But yeah, Billy Smith, that definitely confirms it. I still remember that highlight. And it was a two-handed just unloads on Gretzky. Wow. Wonder what kind of suspension you would get nowadays for that, but that was definitely old school hockey there. Billy Smith was having none of it. I saying Gretzky wasn't getting undressed dang near every shift. Burns ate him alive, along with other D-men. Really watched Shane on the ice. So Ty and I were talking about this when we were sitting together against, when they played Carolina. Burns was just teaching Shaner for the limited amount of time that he was on the ice. There was a couple of plays where Burns just kind of spun out of, a pressure that Shane tried to apply up the ice on the forecheck, and Burns was like, dude, who are you? It's really funny to watch. Again, just another little nuance that we noticed. It was kind of behind the play at the time. I'm not sure if it came through on TV or not, but no Fear 86. Shane responded with an assist. Seems like he handled it just fine. Don't be a hater. You want Shane to star with Maddie. Now, here's the thing. Ty loves to stir the drink because Ty is definitely not a hater of Maddie or Shane. So he's just having fun in the chat here. Yeah, he even says, I'm not a hater at all. I'll just watch more than one play. Oh, man, you guys. Good stuff. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm not sure if I'm going to be live Friday night or not, but I do appreciate you guys logging in tonight. I will update you guys on Twitter, let you know what's going on. If you want to hit subscribe here on YouTube, turn on the alert button so then you know when I'm going live. Usually we'll put the schedule on there, and love having you jump into the stream. It's a lot of fun. No Fear 86 closing things out, saying still extremely young season. I'm confident he will learn from his mistakes. Julio looked horrible his first month. So yeah, definitely arc to the Mariners there. Can't wait to see where we go from here. I do think, again, we got to clean up those mental lapses, those response goals. And if it doesn't happen, we're going to be staring at another tough season and frustrating season, because there's nothing more frustrating than seeing plays that just absolutely zap your momentum and lead to, you chasing the rest of the game. It's tough. One more here from Ty, and then we'll wrap up. He's saying he is definitely going to grow. We have to give him time, though. People are already losing it. He's 18, guys. Let him grow. Yeah, for sure. And No Fear saying agree. I think we all agree on that. We all know he's young. He's got to take his time to develop. I think the frustration really started to happen when, Hackstall's only putting him out for like a few minutes or a couple of shifts here and there. And that was maybe fine. I felt like it was fine in the first game. But then, you healthy scratch, okay. And then, you're hoping you get to see him in the home opener, and that doesn't happen. And then, Monday rolls around and you're hoping, okay, maybe like a 8 to 10 minutes tonight at least. And it was still kind of that sub 6 minute. So yeah, I think there's a lot of momentum in the market, in the media coverage. Obviously, he's a pretty big deal because he went 4th overall and was expected to go 1st overall for many years, right? Not just he didn't just come out of nowhere. And then, the development kind of went on a weird course in the juniors just because of COVID and so on and so forth. But yeah, I think the kid, once he gets his legs under him, maybe we are all a little too anxious here. Dave Hackstall is going to have to face the fire from everybody asking and wanting more time, et cetera, et cetera. And hopefully it works out. I feel like we're getting closer to seeing some additional glimpses. And again, I really, I'll say it one more time. I really did like seeing him with Turbo and Donato. Hopefully there's some consistency with the lines just a little bit as things start to gel and we move a little deeper into the season. I'm going to try to focus back. I come into the stream kind of with 3 focus areas that I'm looking at here, and I'm going to break it up into like 10-game chunks this season. So after about 10 games, as we come into the streams, I'm going to break those 3 things down, just kind of review them real fast while you guys are here before we log out. But the first area, obviously, the line combinations and the roster. I want to see where things settle, and it's really hard on a team where, the coach typically he's got the blender approach, so very hard to predict. McCann, again, banged up, and Shane not getting as much time on ice as we'd like. But we'll see how it goes. So we're keeping an eye on the roster. That's area 1. Area 2, I want that clean defensive structure, zone exits, right? We got to get out of the zone cleaner, minimize our turnovers. So that's area 2. So far, I'd say we're getting about a C grade on that. And I'm not sure I love the line combos being mixed up so much, but just how it is. And then our goaltending. Definitely need the goaltending to cover up mistakes and make the timely saves. So those are the 3 areas. I'm going to come back to these every stream. And after about 10 games, we're gonna break it down, and I'm gonna try to give some letter grades, see what you guys think, and then we're gonna move on to a new few areas to cover over the next 10 games. So just something to think about as you guys come by the channel. Keep it in the back of your mind. Maybe make a couple of notes. Let me know what you're seeing, and I'll kind of give you my assessment as we get deeper into the season. So thanks again, guys. A couple more comments here. Ty saying, work ethic wise, he's on point, just needs time. Everything he needs is around him. Yeah, and No Fear 86 kind of agreeing exactly what I'm trying to say is what he responded with. Yeah, so the AHL, that's the thing, right? They're in a bind with because they can't send him there because he's too young. They would have to send him down to the OHL, for the whole season. So they're pretty limited with the options. There's been a couple of, people speculating on Twitter maybe they could negotiate moving his rights somewhere else. I'm skeptical of that because Ron Francis was pretty clear and out front, and he's not the guy that says something and then does something different. Usually, he's pretty firm with being consistent on his messaging that Shane Wright was going to spend the season with the Kraken, and that was what he fully expected. And they have a development plan, and they're going to go from there. So I would be completely shocked if they within this first 9 games or whatever the deadline is, somehow, just negotiated a maneuver to a different junior team that made more sense and did something like that. But I think what we're going to see is just this continual, gradual, lower him slowly into the deep end more and more as he gets more comfortable. The ice time continues to go up. He gets more confident. He kind of gets up to speed with the overall pace of the game, and go from there. 636, so, not a whole lot more. But I thought the timing of how he was deployed tonight was better, right? We didn't just, see him once and then not see him for, a whole period, and then one more time at the end. just felt like he was a little more present, and he made some things happen. So that's the great thing. If you can stick out a little bit with only 6.5 minutes of ice time, if I'm the coach, well, guess what? Next game, you're gonna get a couple more minutes, and if we can rely on you to be responsible and be able to keep up with the pace of the game, just gonna keep getting more minutes. It's kind of risk reward and go from there. No Fear 86 saying he needs time to build slowly. Can't put him in there for 20 minutes yet. Yeah, no, definitely not. I think they're working him in perfectly. I don't know if I would agree that they're working him in perfectly, but I see where you're coming from on that. I think they just need to find that balance of flow, right? Like if you can limit him to 6 to 8 minutes, fine. But as a player in any sport, right, you want to have the chance to be able to kind of get some groove and flow. And if it's one shift here, and then I'm on the bench cold for 20 minutes, and then it's another shift there. Circumstances play into that too, right? Like the penalty kill definitely plays into that. And if he's not going to be deployed on the penalty kill, then he's going to be sitting the bench for, if they're taking 3-4 penalties per game, that's a good 8, 10 minutes at times that he's not going to play. So, yeah, I guess to Hackstall's point and credit, the team's got to stop taking stupid penalties, or, they're going to have to find a way to deploy him on the special teams. But I don't think they're going to deploy him on the special teams until a few more weeks in, at least. But anyhow. Right, yeah, can't go to the AHL, has to go back. Yep, covered that a little bit. Ty and No Fear kind of going back a little bit. Good point from Ty. Oh, looks like Paul's here. Paul, thanks for logging in tonight. Great to have you. Highlight your comment here in just a second. Ty saying the reverse retro release tomorrow. There goes more money. So keep an eye on that over on Twitter. All the media outlets are going to cover it. But yeah, it should be exciting. I can't wait to see him. I'm always getting excited about the new gear, all the new things that they release. Paul saying almost called it on his first goal. So close. Nice to see his chances. Yeah, Paul and I were kind of tweeting back and forth to each other. And I was saying, let's manifest this goal to happen. And it's so close, hit the post there. I thought it went in. I started celebrating. And then, I saw it come out the other side. And I was like, oh, man. But we'll get it. One of these games, it's going to happen a little bit at a time. Again, thanks. Good to see you the other night too, Paul, in the building. We got that community building and growing. I think it's great too. But, for the people that aren't in the market and aren't able to get to games, this is also a great way to kind of catch up and talk to each other. And, if you want to tweet at me, send pictures, things like that, I love to put that kind of stuff in the stream too. So just, keep coming back, and we'll keep at it here, and hopefully the Kraken improve as I improve the channel too. So thanks again, guys. A couple more comments. Winterton and Riker are the next ones up. Yeah, Susie might be the guy that rotates down. I don't know. I don't know if he can, though. I'd have to look at his contract setup. But Kale Fleury kind of on the outside looking in as a scratch. Maybe Susie would be somebody that rotates as a scratch. I don't know. Susie has been inconsistent for me as well. I do think Riker Evans is going to get a shot here pretty soon to come up and play on the big club. But we'll see what happens. I think between Riker, Susie, and Kale Fleury, there's some decisions to be made there. And as we get later on, Donskoy is going to come off of IR. Then you have more decisions to make in the forward core, right? A little bit of a log jam. Things to discuss there, maybe here, and some additional streams down the road. But I'm going to keep an eye on Winberg a little bit. But yeah, somebody's going to have to rotate. If Donskoy wants to get into the lineup, somebody's going to have to rotate out. We'll see what happens. Oh, Paul Buxton also saying the Firebirds jerseys shipping to folks right now, plus the reverse retro. Great week for new threads. And if you guys aren't following Paul Buxton on Twitter, he did like an opening video of that Firebirds jersey. I think he just got it today, if I'm right. Pretty sharp looking. Paul does a lot of cool stuff. He does a lot with the trading cards and things like that. I believe he has a YouTube channel and also on Twitter. But yeah, go check out Paul. I think it's at Paul Bucks on Twitter there. Cool release video today. I was watching that. So thanks for posting that, Paul. And yeah, I can't wait to see the Firebirds in person. I'm not going to be able to make it this weekend, but I'm hoping to see a lot of pictures from everybody out there. They're going to be in the building this weekend. Yeah, okay. Jim's saying Susie isn't going down. Yeah, maybe I just kind of threw that out there without thinking about it too much, but I don't know. There's gonna be some shuffling, right? You're gonna get a chance to see Riker Evans, I would think, at some point. Cale Fleury also trying to get in and out of the lineup a little bit. He's on the outside looking in, and you never know what's gonna happen with health and injuries, things like that. So, no Fear 86 saying, yeah, I don't think he's going down either. All right, I stand corrected. I am curious to see. Right now, we've got a pretty solid top four, right? Dunn, Larson, Alexiak, Schultz. Borgen has been great. I think Borgen is a lock on most nights for me so far. So really, that leaves Susie, Fleury, and what do you got from there? Right? Riker Evans, I think they're going to give him a few games. I would hope they give him a few games because I feel like he earned it in the preseason. So, I don't know. We'll see. I might point out, like, Alexiak, a couple of things I noticed tonight. Like, he tried to make a hit, neutral zone, missed the hit, put himself out of position, and then gives up a 2-on-1. Just, he kind of looked slow again, didn't deliver the attempt to hit very physically. But I doubt, like, Alexiak's not going to be sad or anything like that. I just feel like he's just got to step it up. The intensity levels needs to go up just a little bit with Alexiak. We'll see what happens. They do have trade bait this year for sure. Yeah. And I think, as much as everybody loves Winberg, he might be part of that situation, right? Because we do have that kind of logjam and depth in the forward ranks. And maybe Donskoy. And maybe you package like a Donskoy Winberg trade so some of these other guys can cycle up into the forward positions. I don't know, but you've got to have guys that are tradable, and I'm not sure that either of those two are right now. I don't think Donskoy is. Not going to get anything for him, and I don't know if Winberg necessarily is, but I'm pretty sure Winberg is also, this is a contract year for him, right? So I would bet something happens at some point because there's too much of a logjam in the forward ranks. Still in absolute awe that Bjorkstrand trade almost right wing 3 level. Yeah, that Bjorkstrand trade was an absolute fleecing. So great work by Ron Francis to bring him over. Pretty cool stuff. I'm saying he could be traded though. There were rumors last year. Are you talking about Winberg or which guy are you talking about there? Ty saying Bjorky and Berkey are a dream. Yeah, I feel like I'm definitely in that dream, Ty. We're dreaming the same dream. Brian Kennicott logging into the stream. Man, it's late for you. You got to get back to sleep. Great meeting you and your bride at the Canes game. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Brian. Ty saying, what's up, Brian? Brian Kennicott, the Kraken Caniac, came all the way out for his first Kraken game, all the way out from the East Coast. He had an absolute blast. Ty toured him around, showed him all the spots. And yeah, Brian, maybe on one of the streams here soon, I'll share some of those pictures and videos. We can actually have you on the show. Let's do that. We'll have Brian on the show. We can talk about the experience and, go through some of those pictures, some of those moments, because I know it was a big kind of culminating type of time for you, being in the building for the first time, getting to see everybody and meet everybody. It was fantastic. And a lot of times, early in these franchise years where the Kraken are going to struggle, I think at times, definitely, they should be better this year, but I still think it's going to be a tough year at times. Got to fall back on the community, right? And meeting each other. I got to meet Jim for the first time in person the other night, and we had a great chat last night on his show. By the way, tune in to the Kraken Fancast guys on their podcast. Make sure you subscribe. Go follow. They do a great job over there. Jim, Chris Porter, and Nathan there. great show, another great talent in the market that we have. We have a wealth of talent on the podcast front here in Seattle. So it's great. We've got YouTubers, we've got, ECH, Sound of Hockey, on and on. The Kraken pod, guys that are out of town that are still covering the Kraken. So it's great. It's great. There's also, the Too Many Men podcast. It doesn't always have to just be us guys. It can be the ladies too. They do a great job. There's Locked On Kraken, just so on and so forth. There's a ton of coverage. It's been fun to be a part of it, and we're going to keep it rolling here. And Ty saying Brian, and Brian saying Ty. So we're going back and forth. Oh, No Fear was saying Russell Wilson. Yeah, okay. I got you now. Sorry, I wasn't picking that up at first. Oh, Jim C saying I've been saying Winnie Donskoy since last year. So we are kind of same page on that. And I know Ty's kind of in the Winberg camp too as far as potential maneuvers. I don't know who else would you want to move? And obviously other GMs are going to know that. But yeah. Paul saying, love to see the Firebirds starting off the season strong at Calgary. Cole Lind, another name, right? 6 points in 2 games, 3 goals, 3 assists. Roden, 2, 2, and 4. So that's awesome. I'm a big Cole Lind fan. I was really hoping he was going to make the team, the big club this year, but that didn't work out. But again, we've got guys waiting in the wings. Got to keep that cupboard full of prospects, and that's Ron Francis's MO. He still has tons of draft picks to keep that pipeline going. I think it's going to be great to see it develop over the next few years. And, along the way, maybe we can contend for a wild card or something like that this year. But, yeah, it's good stuff. Ty saying, who is Donskoy? That's good. I'm going to leave that on the screen for a minute because, yeah, I'm not sure we remember at this point. We also, we didn't see him really much last year do a whole lot. We saw him play a lot, but we didn't see him score much. But he's kind of more of a defensive forward, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, he was clicking along pretty good in Colorado. I think he had like a 20-goal season. He was playing with some pretty good talent there. But yeah, it hasn't clicked here in Seattle so far, and now he's injured. And I'm not sure, probably at least a couple weeks out from what I understand. Maybe a week or so, we'll see. But yep. Brian saying, sounds great. I'd be honored to do that with y'all. So yeah, I'll definitely reach out here on Twitter, send you a DM. We'll figure out a day, time that works, and we'll have you on the stream. It should be a lot of fun. Talk about that night out in Seattle. No Fear 86, we need more than 7 here. Come on, spread the word. Yeah, that's all right. Sometimes I'll get 15, 16, 20. Sometimes I get 3. But my goal is to, keep this going. I've got, a smaller following, but I talked about with this, talked about Jim, talked with Jim last night a little bit. It's like, it doesn't really matter to me. I'm here to do it because I enjoy it. And I like, as long as you guys are having fun, we get to talk hockey, we can kind of recap things. I can do my thing, with the effects and the show and all that and have a great time. But yeah, it's really about kind of, covering the Kraken and interacting with the community, and whether it's 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 6, doesn't matter to me. But yeah, if you guys want to share this on your social channels, much appreciated. Just, hit the subscribe button, of course, hit the like button. That also helps in the algorithm on YouTube, kind of push it up higher. So, even if it's 6 of you or 7 of you, if you hit that like button, it definitely helps. But yeah, if you want to share it, Facebook, Twitter, wherever. I'm not really on Facebook a whole lot, but yeah, appreciate all the support, you guys. Gonna probably wrap things up here. Dangerous, loving it. Let's hide. That's good. I love that. Oh man, rough year for Russell Wilson. Yikes. Saying can't go to bed now. We have 9. He's a night owl. Don't tip Mike. That's true. I mean, it is only 11. Ty knows me pretty good. I'm usually up till midnight most evenings. But I'm kind of running out of things to talk about. So unless you guys keep the comments going, I mean, I'm through my. I could do my reaction again, but we don't want to do that. We could look at the stats a little bit closer. We'll do that real quick. You guys keep the comments rolling here. Take a look at some. Let's look at the ice time real quick. just overall. Get an idea. Let's see. That's I don't know if you ever use this shift chart site. It's pretty cool because it's in real time, lays out each shift for each player of both teams. Pretty awesome resource, right? So, in general, like Matty Beniers tonight, 20 minutes of ice time. 24 shifts, pretty evenly spaced throughout the evening. Doesn't really break it down by, whether it was special teams or not, but Adam Larsson tonight, 23 minutes, 37 seconds. I believe that, well, I could sort it here by grid, but, just visually, that's sticking out to me. That's a lot of minutes for Adam Larsson. Carson Kuhlman, another name, hasn't, you haven't heard it a whole lot on the broadcast, but 15 minutes for him. And the good thing with Carson Kuhlman, if you're not hearing his name, that means he's not making mistakes. We're not looking at him to be 30 goal scorer or anything like that. He's just, filling a role, quality minutes, play good defense. Kind of a, like a bridge player. Night Owl. Paul Buxton, there's a saying I like from Hockey Card YouTuber I follow. We don't count subscribers, we count friends. That's a great way of looking at it, Paul. And, people may poke fun at that or, roll their eyes or whatever. But honestly, 100% for me, like the only reason I'm doing this is because I enjoy doing it. And, you've got to be crazy to think that unless you have thousands and thousands of subscribers, there's really no, you're not going to be making any amount of money off of this that could sustain a living, cost of living or anything like that, especially in Seattle. But yeah, again, I appreciate the support. It's really fun to have you guys in here. And great point by Paul. We don't count subscribers, we count friends. So maybe I'll kind of add that to my my mission statement. If you could, I'm curious what YouTuber that was. If you know, Paul, maybe throw a link out there in the comments. No Fear 86. I just got off the boat. Same boats that have the goal horn. Nice. Drinking in back deck. Let's party. That sounds like a good time to me. Unfortunately, I have to work tomorrow. Otherwise, I would, if this was a Friday night stream, yeah. And we'll see. I might be able to go live Friday. Logistics might be a little bit difficult. I'm planning on watching the game, but I wouldn't be in my normal studio here. So, yeah. Kuhlman had a Cooley night. He's a 200-foot player. Dude was in on a shot up front, then busted it back. That's good to see the back checking. Break up a rush the other way. Cooley plus Gord is a must. So, again, that's what we want from a guy like Carson Kuhlman. He's not going to be scoring goals like Connor McDavid or anything like that. You just need good, committed, disciplined two-way play. And it seems like we're getting that from him so far. Eddie's Cardboard Chaos. He's up in Skagit. Nice. I'll definitely check that out and go subscribe to him because I'm very interested now. What kind of streams does he do? Is it oh, you said hockey cards. Okay. Hockey card YouTuber. So yeah, go check out Eddie. Sounds like he's got his mindset where it should be, when you're a little bit smaller channel, trying to do things the right way. Great quote. We don't count subscribers, we count friends. So definitely all of you guys are a friend to me. I do appreciate you coming back to the channel. Going to keep things rolling here. Keep improving, add things to the show. Trying to, like I said, those 3 main focus areas. I am going to come back to those after game 10, maybe assign some letter grades, let you guys know what I think I've been seeing in those areas. So again, guys, thanks a lot. I'm going to look ahead a little bit here as we roll out to the end of the stream. I am kind of getting tired. We're at an hour, so that's pretty good. I usually only do like 30 or 40 minutes in these post-game streams. But, that's a credit to you guys staying engaged in the chat. It's a lot of fun being able to respond to people and commiserate a little bit together after a loss like that. They did get a point, though. know Jim doesn't like the positive spin, but they did get a point. All right, so we got the Colorado Avalanche, the Stanley Cup champions, on Friday, so that's going to be rough. I hope it's not, but I'm worried if that game could get out of control. We'll see, though. I'm hopeful, but I'm realistic. And then a very winnable game in Chicago on the 23rd. And they come back home for 3 games. The Sabres on Tuesday the 25th. Canucks on the 27th. I think I'm going to be at that one. And then Pittsburgh Penguins come into town on the 29th. That is the entire rest of the schedule for October. It's hard to believe that it's almost November, but that's it. Ty saying, had fun tonight. No fear, we need to do a beer. Yeah, let's do that on the ferry sometimes. I'll be there. Kraken country, let's ride. Definitely need to beat Vancouver this time. Let's do it. All right, so one more little ad here. If you haven't subscribed over on the podcast version, open Spotify or Apple Podcasts, whatever you use on all the major platforms. I don't put all the post-game shows out there, but the audio-friendly stuff and usually the interviews and things like that, which I'm going to keep at it here. Going to have some guests on the show as we go through the season. Looking forward to that. But yeah, and again, right? So we'll see. I might be back on Friday. We'll see. It's been a really busy week here at Sasquatch NHL. If you haven't already, go check out that crossover episode I did with the Surgecast. Zach and Bailey out there covering the Carolina Hurricanes. You know, it was more focused for kind of a preview of the game, but still a lot of great content and insight from them on that. So check out their channel for the episode that they interviewed me, and then check out my channel for the Surgecast interview I did with them. It's good stuff. Audio exclusive, no video for that one. So yeah, go over to your podcast app, download that. Also, last night did that roundtable discussion again with Jim C. and the boys over at Kraken Fancast. Had a great time, great conversation, went into a lot of fun stuff. So keep an eye out for their next episode. Subscribe to them as well. That content probably dropping in the next couple of days. But yeah, again, thanks a lot, you guys. Hit that like button here as you're logging out of the stream if you haven't already. Hit subscribe, turn alerts on. Keep up over on Twitter. And thanks again for all your support. Really appreciate it. Had a great time tonight. A little bit of a slow start, but you know, we got it rolling, and here we are finishing the stream, and now I'm ready to go to bed. All right, so keep coming back. Until next time, guys, have a great night. Get you guys on another stream here real soon.